Hey guys, welcome back to Mechanics Life. This is Art, and today we're working on a 2006 Ford Fusion V6, and we're gonna do a oil pan gasket replacement. This is the same video what it would be for an oil change, except removing the gasket. You wouldn't have to do that. First thing what you have to do is remove the oil cap and pull out the dipstick just a bit so you can have a little more airflow there too. Now we're going to go under the car. We're under the car right now, and this is going to be the passenger side. This is where your oil pan is, and this is where your oil pan drain plug is, and that is a 15 millimeter. We undo this and drain all the old oil out. Once you got it loose, you just unscrew it right there. And make sure you hold it down when you're unscrewing it, so don't just let go right away. And once you feel that the bolt is all the way loose, this is when you want to kind of let go. And I feel it now, and there we go. So the oil is being drained. While this is out, we're going to go ahead and remove the oil filter. It's still draining. We're going to go ahead and put that drain bolt back, but since it's still draining, that's fine. We're just going to remove that oil filter and put a new one on there. We're going to go ahead and put the drain bolt back on. Just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and tighten it with the 15 millimeter. Okay. And from here, we're going to remove this filter, which I'm going to use just the regular pliers. I'm just going to grab it and I'm going to twist it off. What we're going to do is remove all those bolts for the oil pan, which goes all the way back here. There's two on the bottom here, and then obviously they go around the perimeter. And we're going to use a size 13 socket with an extension to get it off. So we just loosened all of those bolts that are right here. All of those. That one, and there's a bolt. These two you have to loosen, and then there's one right here which is on the side, and one here which is on the side, which is also a 13 millimeter, and we would need a ratchet wrench to get it off. So it's one, and the other one's right here. Two. And once again, we get all the bolts out, and we're gonna lower down the pan. To take all the bolts off, what I did was, there's a little notch right here, and I just put a thin flat blade. I just stuck it here, and I just gave a couple of hits, small hits with a mallet. So now this thing is actually loose. So as you can see, you can move the pan. Now we're gonna drop it down. So for you to take the oil pan off, unfortunately you do have to take the exhaust manifold off, which is located right there under this metal panel. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove the oxygen sensor, the protective metal panel cover, and we're gonna unbolt this, which is held on right there, which is held on a 8mm bolts. And same thing here, it's an 8mm right there. And we're gonna take that bolt off, and we're gonna take the exhaust manifold off to lower down the oil pan. I use some penetrating fluid on the oxygen sensor right there to get that off, and we'll go from there. So once you get the exhaust manifold off the car, which is held right there on a 2-flange bolt, which is right here, and then there's a couple of nuts which kind of looks like this, like that, that are holding the exhaust manifold itself. And what I managed to do was to remove the exhaust manifold right here without taking the oxygen sensor off. The way I did it was I used one of these guys, which are very useful, which are, by the way, those nuts right there, those are 13mm, and you would need a deep socket for that. I'm not sure what, there you go. And you put this on, and the way I did it, you would probably need a swivel head just like that, and I went in like that, and it was under, basically it was like this, maybe a little more, just like that, to get those bolts off. So there is 1, 2, 3 on the top, and there is 3 on the bottom. I'm sorry, there's, yes, 3 on the bottom. Total of 6 bolts. You have to take those off, and obviously you have to take the shield off first with an 8mm, and then you get that off. And once you see that, once you do that, the pan actually drop down right away, and I actually have it here. So now I can clean this up, you know, much easier. I was actually thinking of putting the new gasket while the pan was on there, but I didn't know if I was going to be able to do that. So you can see that there was a leak, stuff was coming out, and the gasket, if you can see that this gasket bulges up, but here it's completely flat. It's flat here, it's flat right here, couple of spots. It's absolutely flat and flush to the metal here. So you can see all that grime here. So you can see that it was leaking from right here for the oil. So next step is obviously cleaning the whole thing up. Cleaning this thing right there. That's the bottom of the engine, and that's the oil pump sticking out. So clean that, clean this, put everything back together, bolt everything back, you're good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and clean the old pan. Very clean. make sure you never scrape it. But with anything, especially in metal, I really don't like to scrape even the plastic. I mean, brake clean. Brake clean already works. Never understood the reason. I mean, unless you have a gasket that's stuck on there. When cleaning the perimeter of the outside oil pan, never forget to actually clean the perimeter of the housing on the bottom of the engine. That's very crucial, because if you just clean it here and put it back on, that's where your leak starts. So that's what we're going to do now. This is how it looks like with the new gasket installed. So this is what the bottom of the engine is supposed to look like. So this is super clean. Got to clean it up pretty good. I mean, mine as well, right? You already took it off, so you got to do that extra step to make sure that it's flush and clean. And now we're just gonna put this one back with the gasket on top. And once we do that, we can fill it up with oil, and we are good to go with the oil pan gasket. Let's do that next.